Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Holy cow. Audience, you guys have stumbled into a freaking rat's nest today. I'm not even going to lie to you. I think this is the first time I've ever hit the record button out of spite.
Because I hiccuped.
Sid is over here being disruptive as all get out, not letting us start the podcast. So I said, oh, we're not recording. I said, well, yeah, we are now.
Fine, then I won't hiccup anymore.
Guys, hang on. We need to focus on the important news here, though. All right? American Horror Story characters who look completely different in real life, right? So the claim here, and I have not verified this yet, but the claim is that Pepper from American Horror Story is a bombshell.
She's okay.
In real life.
I wouldn't say a bombshell, but she's cute.
Have you read this story already?
No, but I've seen her before.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
No. Is it worth it? It's multiple pages, people.
Uh-oh.
And there's 65 ads on this page.
What if she's on the very last one?
Guarantee she is. Oh, we all know that Kathy Bates doesn't have a beard, guys. All right, let's keep going. I'll give you... oh, no. Okay. Oh, he's not actually a zombie? Lance Reddick is not a zombie? Great. Thanks, guys. Holy crap. Eileen Wuornos is in American Horror Story?
Yeah, they do one episode.
That's actually kind of cool.
It's a really bad season. Don't watch it.
Oh, wow. She's not all scaly. Oh, boy. Full screen sprint ad. Let's go. One more. This is your last chance. Okay, you're done. She's not a bombshell. It's been declared. Hello and welcome.
Hello and welcome.
Oh, you want to do this part
Hello
too?
and welcome.
You want to do this part? Is that what you're saying?
No.
You think you can do it better?
No.
Go for it.
I know I can't.
Try it out.
I don't even know what's next.
Hello and welcome to episode 40 of We Watch Movies and Then Talk About Them.
40. It's a good
You want to do this
episode.
part?
No, I just was excited that we're at 40.
Hello and welcome to episode 40 of We Watch Movies and Then Talk About Them, the only podcast on the internet where we watch a movie and then talk about it.
There may be others.
There may be others where other people watch movies and then talk about it, but this is the only one where we do it. My name is Andrew Westonsko. I am the host of this here podcast, joined at my right hand in life and in all things by Becca.
Hello, that's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
And Sid's here too.
Yeah, I'm here.
Sid's in
She's at my right.
Sid's in hiccup jail.
I hiccuped once.
How many times did you hiccup, Becca?
None, but I got blamed for one.
All right, well, I'm the only one in the clear here then.
Fine, well, I'm going to make myself get the hiccups.
How do you do that?
Drink lots of soda.
You don't have any soda.
I'm going to run to Maverick.
That's a great idea.
Yes, I will be back.
Guys.
I'll stall for you. Be fast.
Guys, let's focus here. All right, come on. Rein it in. Today, we are talking about Guillermo del Toro's 2006 Multi-Academy Award winning film Pan's Labyrinth, which in Spanish has a much better name, The Labyrinth of the Faun. I think that's a really cool name.
That is a cool name.
It's better than Pan's Labyrinth, but seeing as he is fluent in both English and Spanish, I have to assume that he also named the film in English. So I don't think they had a translation intern that they just handed it over to, and they were like, "Say, Diego, what do you think this movie should be called?" I don't know. Pan's Labyrinth stars some people, I don't know, doing some stuff. It is the story of the just after the Spanish Civil War. Takes place in 1944, and there is a group of rebels, there is a group of fascists, and they are combating with each other, and caught in the middle is poor little Ophelia, who is just a nice little girl who likes fairy tales and fairies and tales.
Good one.
It wasn't a joke. It was just a description of the movie.
She likes fairies and tales.
Yeah, I assume.
All right.
Are we talking like a story tale or a dog tale?
It's called a double entendre.
It could be both. It could be neither.
It has to be one of them.
It could be one of them.
But we watched this movie today. It's in Spanish. Probably one of the few, I would say, foreign language film. Not that. I would say it's one of the few foreign language films to really get some traction in the United States. We do not like to read, and it's very difficult to get people to see movies that are not in English. And actually, the first time that I saw this, I didn't know it was in Spanish. I just assumed because it was talked about so much that it was in English.
Most people didn't. When they did their advertising, they didn't have any dialogue in the trailers.
That's so smart.
Yeah. But then, like, everyone was pissed when they got there. Like, I have to read? I'm a free American. I don't have to read.
When you come to America, you better learn English. I mean, the whole movie was dubbed anyway, so
Yeah.
they could have done it, but they didn't. Good on you, Guillermo. What a champ. Yeah, I mean, a feat that was repeated by Alfonso Cuarón's film last year, Roma. Also got a lot of traction. Not as much as this. Mm-mm. It was mostly talked about inside the film community, but it did win several Academy Awards, including Best Director and Best Cinematography, an award that it shares with Pan's Labyrinth.
Should have won more.
I don't know, dude. Here's the thing. Let's just talk about this right off the top, right? Before we get into hot takes
No,
or
I'm
anything.
talking about
Roma.
Yeah.
I thought you meant Pan's Labyrinth
Yeah.
should have won more. Okay.
Yeah, Roma should have won everything.
Yeah, Roma definitely should have won more. Green Book.
I'm out. See you later.
We're looking here. This was actually a fairly decent year for movies, right? This was 2006. This was the year that The Departed won Best Picture, which is a hard one to argue with, except for the fact that Children of Men also came out this year. Children of Men wasn't even nominated for Best Picture, which is crazy.
Jeez.
But the big three all had movies this year. Guillermo had this. He had Pan's Labyrinth. Iñárritu had Babel, which I haven't seen, but I've heard is good. And Cuarón had Children of Men.
Sweet.
So, and this was before they all just started passing the trophy around. So, I just want to know who's. I guess none of them really have anything on deck for this year, huh? Mm-mm. That sucks. So somebody else is going to win Best Director? They're finally going to let someone else have it?
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay.
Yes. Long overdue.
Just here's the thing. It's so hard to even make any predictions this early in the year because obviously your front runners are Midsummer and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And if we're being realistic, then your only front runner is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because the Academy hates genre films. Mm-hmm. But we got some heavy hitters. You got the Irishman coming out. Mm-hmm. Lighthouse, which again is going to get ignored.
Probably.
But it finally has a release date.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. That 1917 trailer just dropped, which I think looks dumb.
I didn't even watch the trailer.
I don't like war movies. I feel like it could be making a push.
I would love it. I would love it.
Yeah, right?
I will love it.
Yes.
And like we're just barely starting to get into all of our gosh, I swear on my life, if Tom Hanks wins Best Actor for impersonating Mr. Rogers, so gosh darn help me. I will not abide that. I can't. I'm so done with these biopics. I swear on my life. Oh my gosh, I can't even and there's nothing against Mr. Rogers. Fine dude. Grew up watching his show. But can we stop making biopics? They're not good.
They're really not, and they're not that interesting.
Last good biopic I saw was Steve Jobs. And that was literally exclusively because I just lost his name.
Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender was incredible. Aaron Sorkin just said, hey, what if we did this, but all of these people were super witty? Biopics are only good if they're written by Aaron Sorkin because we have The Social Network, we have Steve Jobs. I mean, and that's the thing is it's hard to look at something like Bohemian Rhapsody or like Darkest Hour and be like, oh, well, they don't deserve an Oscar because the performance is incredible. But can we just do something different, guys? Seriously, I swear on my life, if Tom Hanks wins for freaking Flippity Day in the Neighborhood, I'm gonna lose my mind. I can't, people. Let's just not. I don't even want to go see that movie.
You don't have to.
I know. That's a nice thing. In any case, we're talking about Pan's Labyrinth today.
Yes.
It actually beat Children of Men for cinematography,
Wow.
which is kind of a gosh darn shame.
Yeah, I'd have to say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Children of Men,
That's
episode 3 of We Watch Movies and Then Talk About Them. You can hear us gush about the cinematography in that movie, but it's really something special. Lubezki is a master, and we love him.
love
Was
him.
Children of Men nominated?
For cinematography? Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah. Pan's Labyrinth, Children of Men, Black Dahlia, The Illusionist, and The Prestige. The Prestige came out this year? Heavens, folks.
That didn't get nominated?
It got nominated for cinematography, but I think that's it. Prestige is hot take here. The Prestige is Christopher Nolan's best movie.
It's up there, for sure.
I think it
In my humble opinion.
is. I have not seen Following or Insomnia. Like
haven't seen
those are
either.
his pre-Memento movies,
Isn't he redoing Memento?
supposedly. But I'm excited for
Also,
Tenet.
I heard that the trailer for Tenet dropped in like a few theaters.
Apparently, it was like John David Washington on screen for 10 seconds, and they're like, Tenet.
Oh.
Great. Because it doesn't come out until December of 2020.
Oh.
Like, what are they expecting to have happen? Or maybe, no, it's July of 2020. Dune got pushed to December of 2020.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking of. But freaking Robert Pattinson, like, I mean, he's got his Michael Caine in there, but like, he's finally branching out. He's doing an original thing again, which is awesome. But here's your definitive ranking of Christopher Nolan movies while we talk about Pan's Labyrinth, right? Because we're onto it. It goes The Prestige, everything else.
Oh, that was quick.
Wow. Okay.
No, The Prestige, Interstellar, Dunkirk, Dark Knight, Inception, then everything else.
Yeah,
That's fair.
that's a good list.
Take a drink of water. All right, folks, let's get into this, right? Pan's Labyrinth, directed by Guillermo del Toro. There's a lot of things to like about this movie, but here's how the show's going to go down at this point. You can hear me ramble for approximately 12 minutes, and then we will get into the discussion of the movie. We'll start out with some hot takes, and then we'll do the actual discussion. Sid has graciously cultivated the best of IMDb movie trivia. She read it, so you don't have to. After that, we will get into other topics, and who knows where that will go. Maybe I'll get mad about Tom Hanks again. I don't know. There's really no way to tell.
You'll
But-
get mad about something.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I could get angry about something if we want to do that. I got no problem with that. But let's go. Wait, hang on. Just to give the people a preview, we will be spoilering Pan's Labyrinth, the 13-year-old movie. I guess that's your own fault at this point. But Sid, before we get too far into it, where do we stand on the scale of existential dread? I forgot to ask you last week, and I'm sorry.
So you have a stats test this week.
Oh, that really has to come into effect, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're about at a solid 85.
85. How much of
Oh.
that was the movie's fault, though?
It added like 3.8
So it's mostly the stats test.
mostly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, mostly the stats.
All right. Well, then, let's do some hot takes. Don't burn yourself on these hot takes.
Wow.
Sid's just trying to host the podcast. You're more than welcome to if you want to.
Taking over.
Becca, how hot is your hot take?
It's pretty hot.
Wow.
Yeah. I loved this movie. I hadn't seen it, so this was my first time. And Andrew has made me watch a lot of foreign films, mostly Russian, very slow, some in black and white.
You say, oh, okay. Let's clear the air here. I've made you watch a few foreign films, 2 of them in Russian and 1 of them in black and white.
Okay, well, I just have to like set the stage for like what I expect when Andrew says foreign film. And
I prefer European film.
it's usually
I guess this is technically European because it's Spain.
long, slow, sometimes in black and white, and obviously in another language.
Yeah.
So it's usually like I have to prep myself for a long movie.
Becca's just you just don't understand Soviet cinema properly. All right, let's just.
Well, you just need to not give me Soviet cinema yet and just give me other better foreign films.
Ouch. That's such a harsh
Like
hot take.
Pan's Labyrinth.
That's such a harsh hot take. Holy cow, I'm burning over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I loved it. I like forgot that it was in Spanish. I mean, I know I had to read subtitles the entire time, but like once you get into it, you're into it, and it doesn't feel like work to watch it. Like, I don't know, you can watch and still enjoy the story even though it's in another language. And like, yeah, it just didn't feel like a different language to me. And I just really enjoyed it. I love fairy tales. I've always loved fairy tales, but I love when they have like a darker twist or are more like grounded the way Pan's Labyrinth is. And so I really enjoyed all the fairy tale aspects of this movie, and the story and the acting. Like, I thought it was fantastic. I'm excited to talk about all the things.
Right on. Sid, how hot is your hot take?
It's pretty hot.
Nice.
Yeah, I really like this movie. I saw it about a year ago, and I think kind of along the same lines as Becca. This is a great introduction into foreign film. I've been trying to get more into it. It can be hard because you have to give your undivided attention for at most 2 hours, and sometimes it can be hard, especially with the more daunting movies. But this movie is just, it's fun, but it's also super dark, and it's whimsical. I just love how Guillermo can mix just the dark and creepy aspect with all the cool fairy tale aspect, and it's just so interesting. And I love just visually everything that he puts on screen. It's so awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much else to say right now, but it's great. I love it. We love you, Guillermo del Toro.
We do love you, Guillermo.
I do. Sorry, before you go, Andrew, I do want to say I don't hate foreign film.
Here it comes, the backpedaling.
Well, okay, they're hard to watch for sure, but I have enjoyed a lot of aspects of every foreign film that Andrew has made me watch. But I guess just advice to you that you should have known for my past self is introduce me to easier movies first. And Pan's Labyrinth, like Sid said, is a great introduction to foreign film.
So you're trying to tell me that Stalker is not the best first foreign film to watch?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. Underground and Repentance, those were fine.
No, we watched Repentance before we watched Stalker.
We did. Repentance was fine. I think that was the first one.
Repentance is just as slow and abstract as any of the Tarkovsky, though.
But it's shorter, and I feel like it seems... Isn't it like a little bit more comical? It feels lighter to me.
It's Georgian, it's not Russian, so you get like they're allowed to be a little happy sometimes, where Russians have to be sad all the time.
Yeah, like there's like no happiness in the Russian films we've watched.
Well,
and no light, and it's all black and white. Like
one movie was black and white.
Stalker's black and white for the first half, or sepia, or whatever.
It's sepia for like 30 minutes, and it's a 2 hour and 45-minute movie. I think you can make it through. All right.
Anyway, we don't have to talk about it, but I just wanted to say to our audience, I guess, that like don't, like, you should get into foreign film if it's something you're interested in, but starting with something like Pan's Labyrinth or Roma is a lot easier.
Even Roma is, because like this one, I guess I'll jump right into my hot take then.
Okay.
At least comparing it to Roma as like an entry point for foreign film. Roma, I feel like does require more of the audience than this one does.
Yeah.
This one, you're really able to, like you said, kind of forget that you're watching a foreign film. Just because of how inviting the movie is. Roma, I feel like, is very warm on the inside, but very cold on the outside.
I also feel like Roma is like an introductory to someone who is interested in film, Pan's Labyrinth would probably be like someone who's kind of more like passive, because it has like it has more of a plot to it, and like it's just, you know, there's more stuff going on.
Yeah, Roma is very much a film. Like it's slow and it's a little bit longer. Actually, I think it's just over 2 hours, isn't it?
Yeah,
back me up here.
Yeah, it's about 2 hours.
But even still, like a lot of the images are a little more abstract and
2 hours 15.
Yeah. So I think this is, out of all of the foreign films that I've seen, this is probably one of the better first ones to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think a lot of that comes down to just how much I love Del Toro. Like, I gotta say, watching him accept awards for The Shape of Water was just like the freaking most heartwarming thing that has ever warmed my heart, because he's just like a big kid. He's just like so goofy and happy, and like even when he's giving his acceptance speeches, and that like youthful exuberance really comes through in his work. But he's also like a dark dude. So like he's able to really mix those two sides super well, and like there's a reason that people get excited when his name gets attached to something, because nobody is able to take these really heavy, dark, not always dark, but heavy themes and make them very digestible by pairing them with these really fantastical elements. So, you know, when he wants to make a film about, you know, loss of innocence framed in the Spanish Civil War, he doesn't make a Spanish version of Boy in the Striped Pajamas. You know what I mean? He makes a fairy tale. And when he wants to...
he's so good at fairy tales.
Exactly. And when he wants to make a movie about, you know, toxic masculinity and, you know, independent womanhood and true love, he makes The Shape of Water. You know what I mean? Like, he's able to take these really heavy themes and pair them with these just fantasy elements to make them super digestible and super entertaining, but you still get the vibe. Like, nobody would watch Pan's Labyrinth and be like, oh yeah, that's a happy movie, all right. Like, it's still super dark, and like a lot of bad stuff happens, but like it's all tempered by this fairy tale it's really being told parallel to the actual story of the movie. I don't know. And he's able to do that like almost nobody else that I can think of. It actually reminds me of a lot of Eastern European cinema, not Russian necessarily, but like Polish cinema, for example. A lot of the times they pair really wacky elements with these really dark themes to, I guess, they used it more as a coping mechanism, like to come to grips with the fact that like they were living under a totalitarian regime kind of a thing. But I feel like Guillermo del Toro uses it to kind of deconstruct different stages of life, and that's really exciting to see.
Yeah, and I just think it's like storytelling at its best. Like, a story is supposed to like bring you into this different world and show you things that maybe don't happen in your world and aren't realistic. But then you can still learn things to apply to your life, or it still like has those deeper meanings and those deeper lessons and themes. And I think this does that really well.
Yeah, for sure. I thought Sid was going to jump in there, but she didn't. I mean, you don't have to. You had the look like you were going to, so
I kind of blanked a little bit.
That's perfect.
But I would just like to say, I too love Guillermo. The part where like he went on stage after they announced The Shape of Water won, and he like checked the envelope, and like showed it to everyone. That was probably my favorite part of any Oscars ever.
Did you forget Olivia Colman's acceptance speech?
Oh, that was...
How could I?
Because that's probably the best Oscar moment ever.
Top 2.
Okay.
Best moments ever.
That's fair.
Top 3. Both Bohemian Rhapsody not winning.
My number one Oscar moment is Green Book winning the Oscar for Best Picture, and a bunch of old white dudes went up on stage.
Have
And
you seen someone, they edited their acceptance speech for best editing in the style of
Bohemian Rhapsody.
It's horrible.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's horrible.
Oh yeah, the editing in that movie is atrocious. The Oscars this last year were a joke.
Don't get me started.
We talk about that. Actually, we don't
In
have an
most
episode.
our episodes, we
yeah, we have a
talk-
lot of episodes talking
Yeah.
about it. We're really upset about
The
Green Book and
one-
Bohemian Rhapsody.
What was the episode right after the Oscars? I know we talked about it for a bit after.
I'm not sure. Just there's the Oscar nomination extravaganza, the
Mhm.
episode immediately following that.
Yeah, just at the very end.
Yeah.
Just hear us yell.
It's bad.
It's really bad.
It's really bad. Pan's Labyrinth. We're off track today, guys.
It's all right.
I'm angry now.
Well,
Let's talk about a good movie. Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth is a good movie. One thing I do want to talk about, this won the Oscar for Best Cinematography. I brought that up earlier. But I'm not gonna lie. Watching it, I don't know that that's what I came away impressed with.
No, I think.
Jeez.
Sorry, I've been smoking a lot lately.
Do you have a giant frog
I-
living in your throat?
Yes, I'm gonna throw up my stomach. I think it kind of. This also won for Best Art Direction.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people were like putting them together, which like they do kind of go hand in hand. But just Children of Men is the real winner.
But I mean, even like if I were to compare it with Children of Men, like I didn't even know until I looked it up after that that's what it
Yeah.
beat. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there was a few cool shots, like a few transition shots,
Mhm.
like when she is down in the fig tree, and it does this like panning shot where it goes over and kind of slides, and then it's the guests getting out of the car. I was like, oh, that's a cool shot.
Yeah. There were some cool shots, but like overall, I don't
And
think
like
it was.
I guess I don't know, we give a lot of credit to like color palette and like crazy shots. One thing that I feel like this did excel on as far as cinematography goes was lighting.
Yeah.
There's very distinct feels between the real world and the fantasy world, and a lot of that does come down to lighting, which it's easy to forget that the cinematographer is in charge of that.
Mhm.
Or the DP, I guess is what they call them. What's your favorite part of this movie? Was it a favorite scene and or sequence? What stuck with you?
Ooh. That's a tough one. I have to like
Yeah.
think about that for a second, I think.
I think mine, even though it's the creepiest part in the movie, it's when she goes and the pale man is there. Because it's
He's so cool.
he's so cool, but it's such a horrifying scene, and you just like feel so anxious watching everything.
And the
Just those
pile of
Yeah.
shoes.
But
Oh.
everything about that scene, I don't know, just like the table is just like decorated with all this beautiful food, and he's just like sitting there not moving, and then you got like the murals above him.
Of him stabbing children.
Yeah. But
Like, read the room, Ophelia. You know what I mean?
you're really gonna risk it all for a grape?
Couple of grapes.
You can like grab some bread, a grape. So anyway, I just think that, I don't know, that scene like stands out the most to me because it has like a different feel to it. Like a lot of the movie has a feel of urgency to it, but that one especially.
Very stressful.
Yeah, it's very stressful. And also, why did she draw the door on the ceiling?
I think it was so he couldn't follow her as well. Like, I thought that was actually pretty smart. Then she climbs up and he,
Okay.
like, if she went straight through, then, like, all he would have to do
Is like
is,
reach
like, run
through.
and
Okay.
go through with her.
I can see that.
Mm.
Anyway, I just think that scene's awesome, but it also scares me.
That scene is awesome.
I don't know if that I can pick, like, one specifically, but I do think that just all the scenes of her in this fantasy world. So, like, obviously that one, the scene with the toad where she goes into the tree is really incredible. Like, her just walking down like into the labyrinth and meeting the fawn for the first time. Like, I don't know, just all the ones where she's in her fantasy world are the scenes that stick out the most to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna ultra cheat here, and I'm gonna have a multi-way tie. I'm not sure how many way. Any scene with the fawn is my favorite.
Yeah.
He is like leagues and measures my favorite part of this movie. I think that everything from the design of his character, his knobby weirdo knees bend the wrong way, the performance that Doug Jones gives, and then the guy who does the voice, I forget his name, but it's two people. The way that he speaks, you guys wouldn't notice this, I suppose, but he speaks in like old Spanish. Like it's a different, he uses different words and different verb conjugations that are like, were reserved for royalty, like back in the olden days. Like he doesn't speak modern Spanish, which is a cool touch to have. It sounds really cool to have him have him speak that. He's like sassy, which I like, and like you can never tell if he's a good guy or a bad guy. I don't know. Just, and every interaction that she has with him, I just want like an hour and a half movie of just him talking and walking around and telling stories.
Like doing that weird like shutter thing.
Yeah. Oh man. Seriously, I would buy like a companion set of just like him pacing around a dirty room telling fairy tales. I would love that. I just every scene with him on screen, I just get so freaking wrapped in.
And I think that's definitely like, I mean, the biggest part of that is Doug Jones. Like pretty much any movie that they slap some makeup on him, like he is the star, at least for that scene.
What should we?
Like
he does the Pale Man too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And he was the fish in Shape of Water, the fish in Hellboy. Like he does a lot of
like heavy makeup stuff.
yeah, because like if you look at him, like he's a really scrawny, like lanky guy, so he just like can move his body. That works so well for some of these movies.
Yeah. Jeez, he is prolific. He is all over the place.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard of any of these.
Yeah, I think they even got him for The Bye Bye Man, which is a horrible movie.
Did you see that?
No, but I've heard.
Oh yeah, he plays the Bye Bye Man.
I've heard like podcasts talking about how horrible it is.
I wanted to go see it when it came out just because it looked so awful.
But like, yeah, he's like the number one guy in those movies. Ooh.
Yeah, I
That
just
looks
saw
scary.
this. He plays the vampire in a new remake of Nosferatu. Who is this guy? David Lee Fisher? He only has a remake of the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. But now he's remaking Nosferatu? I'm interested in that.
Yeah, that'd be, if they can do it right, it would be awesome.
That'd be really cool. I want to watch more vampire movies. I think vampires are way cool. But yeah, jumping back. He just commands your attention when he's on screen.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. He's just incredible. That's a pause.
Oh, got it.
Just for us to fully take in how incredible he is.
How incredible he is. Yeah.
Moment of silence for Doug Jones.
Moment of silences are a terrible idea on a podcast. You understand that, right?
He is not dead. We just like him. Everyone shut up.
So we give a moment of silence to people we don't like.
Everyone shut up.
I don't want to shut up.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. Great job. Great job. How about, I think it's a really smart the way that he the way that Guillermo del Toro decided to shoot the captain as well, and not with the gun. I mean, how he meant to shoot him with the camera. He really, like, even in the real world, right? He shoots it like, not even like a fairy tale, but like very exaggerated in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to the captain. Like, there's a lot of like low angle shots looking up at him to make him look really tall and menacing. He has a lair, for crying out loud. Like, seriously,
That screams bad guy.
yeah, his office is like the guts of this mill that they have repurposed into a country home. Like, dude literally has a lair. I don't know, he portrays him as a villain, and he definitely is a villain. Seems like Guillermo del Toro does not side with the fascists.
Yeah. But he's like very dramatized. Like from the get-go, you know this guy is the worst. And he just like, because it's supposed to be a fairy tale.
Yeah.
And in fairy tales, they make their villains known. And he does a really good job of that, of just like, this is the guy that you hate. And you hate him. Yeah. Because he sucks.
Well, and even what you were saying, Becca, as far as like it being just really, really good storytelling at its base, like they, even just think about the very opening scenes, right? Like they're in the cars and we see, she finds this rock with an eye in it, puts it in the thing, and then this fairy pops out, right? We're like, okay, this is going to get weird. They show up at the house. She doesn't like the captain. They go to bed that night. He comes out, bashes a dude's face in with a bottle. Like 10 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's no like, oh, is he actually a good guy? It's like, no, from the outset, bad guy.
Yeah.
And even when like he reaches into the bag and like they were just hunting rabbits, he's just like, well, this is your fault, person who called me, not me, who bashed his face in with a bottle. Super gruesome, by the way.
Oh, yeah. All the gore in this movie is a bit much for me.
I'm sure that Ari Aster just has this film like on repeat all the time.
Oh,
He's
it's
like,
hard.
There's not a lot of it, but when it's
very brutal what there is.
Yeah. Listening to you guys yell when she put the knife in his mouth.
Oh,
I totally forgot about that.
I was waiting for that part because I for some reason really like that part, probably because he sucks so much, and I was waiting for your guys' reactions.
You guys felt empowered by that moment is what it was.
Oh yeah.
she's not just a woman.
Not just a woman.
She's a woman with a knife.
That's much scarier than just a woman that's being...
But women are more than just women or women with knives.
Yes.
Girl power, feminism, let's do it.
Here's the thing, though. I gotta say, her work ethic, not really up to snuff. Because...
Well, she hates him, so...
Well, she could have at least finished the one job, right? She stabs him like 6 times and then is like, yep, I'm out.
I know. If you've learned anything from any movie or story, you never let the bad guy live.
No, you double check. And they were double checking all over the place. They were pulling John Wicks. They were headshotting dead bodies. Like, you double check. Because she's now the reason that Ophelia gets shot. As far as I'm concerned.
That's true.
Mercedes, you really messed it up.
Ew.
But it had to be that way to finish the story out.
So, then let's talk about this. Does she just die? Like, is there just no fairy tale at all?
I think so. I think the moment that it really hit me was when she's running away from the captain in the labyrinth and she's talking to the fawn, and then he runs up behind her and you see her still talking to him, but he can't see her.
He can't see the fawn.
He can't see the fawn. I feel like that's when it all, like, that's the moment that everything, like, both stories kind of collide. And to me, like, the fairy tale throughout the entire story was just like her way of dealing with all the crap that was going on around her.
It's just a coping mechanism.
Yeah, and just like this awful man who's now her dad, and like now she has a way, like she's got chalk so she can draw a door on her wall and she can go into this magical world, and she's actually a princess, and she's going to take her brother with her, and they're going to escape, and they're going to go into this magical land where she can be a princess. And like that's the moment for me when he sees that there's nothing there, where it like all kind of ends and it's just real life now. Like she has to come to terms with the fact that like it was all in her head.
So then
That's what I think.
Her little vision is just her light at the end of the tunnel, or what?
Yeah.
I kind of think that one's just kind of like she's dying, and so she's just imagining this better place. Like there are a lot of people who would say that the vision is like the afterlife and she's going to be with her parents, but I just think it was kind of like a comforting thing for her in that moment.
Yeah.
To just like imagine that she's still going to be able to go to this kingdom and be princess, and it's not just death after this.
Yeah. Well, and it reinforces the theme as well. I think the biggest theme in this movie is loss of innocence, right?
Yeah.
That she is forced into this very adult world at a very young age. And not only does she have a loss of innocence, but we as the audience experience it as well, because like we're so latched onto her. Mm-hmm. And we almost like we experience this fantasy through her eyes, and then when she dies and we see that it's not real, like you said, like that's a little piece of us that dies as well. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know, it just drives home that theme by not only like showing a character losing their innocence, but like forcing us to, I guess, gain back and then lose some of ours again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And even the way that it's filmed there in the end, where it like shows her vision and then it like just cuts back to her and it's like really dark, but she's still alive and she's smiling, like she hasn't died yet. So like that vision was just like it was just her in her head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, perception is reality.
Yeah. So she died happy.
Yeah. I guess that's what we can ask for. I don't know. It's incredibly depressing.
Yeah, it is.
Especially because she's such a cute little girl.
She is so cute.
Little brat.
Okay, but her stepdad was a total dick, so
she should be a brat.
She's allowed to be a brat.
It's fair. So then what about when the mom burns the mandrake root and it screams? Is she the only one that hears it scream?
I think so.
Yes, I'm still not entirely sure how the mandrake...
And where did she get it?
Yeah, how that is affecting real life.
Like maybe she just found it in her room?
And also, why was everyone so mad that there was a mandrake under the bed?
Yeah.
It's a plant, guys.
Well, and the mom did get mysteriously better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she did, like, die as soon as she burned it.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was just like kind of Ophelia's way of taking care of her brother almost. Like if she's taking care of the mandrake, she's taking care of him, and then as soon as the mandrake is burned, she can't take care of him or the baby anymore.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, there is that scene where, you know, the captain comes in and she's talking to the fawn, but he doesn't see her. But there are pretty distinct connections between the fantasy world and the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, because, oh wait, I guess that makes
And like
sense.
the Book of Crossroads, like she had that book. It
Yeah.
was blank, but she had it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was real. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's like chalk drawn on her wall, which obviously she could have just drawn.
And there
But-
is a labyrinth with a weird spiral staircase down into the earth.
Yes.
Like that's real.
Yes, but like all of those things, like when you take like a young girl in a place she doesn't want to be, who loves stories and loves fantasies and wants to escape, like it would be so easy for her to create a fantasy, to like find a book in the woods randomly and be like, wow, this must be something really special, and then like find this labyrinth and just like create something out of that.
Yeah, I mean, I all I'm saying is I think I agree with you that like none of it was real, but I guess my point is that I don't know that it's as exactly cut and dry as just like
Yeah.
the captain didn't see the fawn, so it's not real.
Yeah.
Because there, like I said, there are connections between the fantasy world and the real world that are observed by other characters.
Well, I think that's what makes it so good is that it's like I said in my hot take, it's a very grounded fairy tale. Like it feels like it could be real almost.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what makes it so good too.
Yeah. I don't know. And I think we're closing up, right? Are we like missing any threads you guys wanted to pull on?
One thing just that I wanted to mention quickly. Another big theme that I noticed because from the trivia I kind of mentioned it is disobedience. And they mention it a few times in the movie. The doctor says like pretty much to obey just for the sake of obeying is something that you do. Like, you know. But so, yeah, there's a little bit of trivia where people are just like, Ophelia's stupid for eating the grape. Which, like, she kind of is.
Yeah.
But it's...
Well, I mean, read the room. You know?
Yeah. But ultimately, Guillermo says it's about courageous disobedience. And that's also, like, what the resistance is to the Spanish soldiers. Like, it's kind of like doing something for something better. And like the fawn says something where he says before he's like, I need to like pretty much sacrifice your brother. She's like, no, I don't want to. And he's pretty much like, you said you would obey me, so obey me. But she disobeys because she believes in something higher, something better. So
I like that theme.
That's very good. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Because then, yeah, like the doctor talked to the captain, but he was also talking to like the resistance and saying, well, like you kill him, they're gonna just come with more captains and more armies. Like it's pointless, basically, but that wasn't gonna stop them.
Yeah.
Well, and to that point, it didn't stop the doctor.
Yeah.
He still helped them.
Yeah.
He was a bit of a nihilist, but he's still...
Like he was being...
Or not a nihilist, a pessimist.
He was being like reasonable.
Yeah.
But he was still like, I still believe in this, so I'm still going to help them. And I'm going to... I'm going to help this boy die so he's not in any more pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
A true ally that would actually die for the cause.
That's a good thread to pull on.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I think I would just say this movie is a joy to watch. It's really fun. It's really entertaining. And there are some things bubbling under the surface. So why don't we jump into the rest of the trivia, and then we will do final thoughts and place this movie on the Weston scale, the only definitive way to rank movies on a scale of 1 to 10.
All right, let's get into it. Del Toro repeatedly said no to big Hollywood producers who were going to double his budget in order for him to change it to English. He said he didn't want to compromise the storyline to suit the market needs.
Good on you, my guy. Dude, that's
Yeah.
a baller move.
Yeah, I think it was great. Del Toro also gave up his entire salary to see this film pretty much become real. And he says it was worth it for him. Because I feel like this was like the big movie that like let him have total liberty. Like he had the Hellboy movies, but they don't totally feel like a Del Toro movie to me, at least.
I've never seen them.
They're decent. I mean, they're better than the newest Hellboy, so I guess that's something to be proud of. Stephen King was sitting next to Del Toro at one of the screenings, and Del Toro said that King was squirming when the pale man was chasing Ophelia, and he compared it to winning an Oscar, just to scare the crap out of Stephen King.
That's awesome.
All the subtitles were translated by Del Toro himself because he had problems in the past.
I actually did know that one.
Look at you.
I know. I feel special.
The fawn's legs were not computer generated. They like had a special rig so Doug Jones could still walk. And then after post-production, they digitally removed his legs. The captain's what?
Fun fact, this is totally unrelated, but that's similar. There's a shot in Forrest Gump. Have you seen the video on that?
I haven't seen the video, but I like know what they did.
He goes to visit Lieutenant Dan, and Lieutenant Dan has no legs,
Yeah.
but Gary Sinise does. And so but there's this scene where he like rotates around, and his legs would have had to go through a table, but they CGI an entire table just to make it seem like, because it's these little like subconscious things that your brain sees the legs swivel like that, and you know that a leg would hit a table if it was there, but he doesn't hit the table, so you're like a little bit more brought in. Little things like that.
That's cool.
So it probably just like allowed his movement to be more natural.
Yeah.
And then take his legs out. It's those little things that like subconsciously bring you into a movie. Like that's movie magic.
Yeah, because like their CGI is fine. It's not great, and it kind of just like pulls you out of like the fairy tale experience. So I think it's great that they try to do that as practically as they could.
Yeah.
The captain's room was made to look like the inside of his father's watch, to represent his troubled mind.
Huh.
Yeah. And when you like look at it, there's like, there's like gears behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Received a 22-minute applause at the Cannes Film Festival.
Get over yourself, Con. Seriously, I hear these freaking trivias about, received a 20-minute applause, received an 8-minute standing ovation. What are you doing for 22? Who is clapping for 22 minutes? Like, that is just a bunch of really snobby movie people sitting around freaking, I don't know how to make a not obscene reference here, but just really helping each other out. You know what I mean? And freaking A, man, like 22 minutes, I'd be like, can I watch another movie? No, I'm at a film festival, not a clapping festival. I cannot abide those things. That bugs the crap out of me. So snobby.
Okay, I'll avoid those trivia from now on.
No, you don't have to. It's still good trivia. But good heavens, 22 minutes. Go watch an episode of The Office, man. Like, seriously.
Oh, man. So Doug Jones, who was pretty much the only one on set who didn't speak Spanish, had to memorize not only his lines in Spanish, but also for Ophelia's, because he couldn't hear the mechanism to make his face and ears move. He couldn't hear, so he had to know like what she was saying and how fast she was saying it, so he could reply back to her.
A consummate professional.
It took him 5 hours to get into the Pale Man costume.
Jeez.
It said, I don't know if this is totally true, but it's worth mentioning, when the Pale Man bites the fairy, it said that Doug Jones was biting condoms filled with fake blood.
It's a fat yikes, dude.
Jeez.
Fat yikes right there. The fawn was inspired by a lucid dream that Del Toro repeatedly had as a child. And it said that he would wake up every night and see the fawn gradually step out from behind a grandfather clock.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The fawn horns weighed 10 pounds, and they had to be applied last because they were so heavy. There's a lot of trivia for this one. Okay, wait, this is the last one.
All right.
Although audiences have interpreted the film's bittersweet ending to be like a religious metaphor, to a psychological allegory, Del Toro says he relates it to a quote by someone who I cannot say their name. It is foreign, and it looks Swedish. But pretty much that says, the tyrant's reign ends with his death, but the martyr's reign starts with his death. So take that as you will.
Interesting.
And that's all I got for you.
Thank you. That was some quality trivia.
You're welcome.
Greatly appreciate it. All right, Becca, you're up. Final thoughts and rating out of 10. Let's go.
All right. Well, I was very surprised at how much I love this movie. I didn't think I was not going to like it, but I don't know. I feel like it just like enchanted me. I know it's a sad, depressing movie, but like the fairy tale aspects are very enchanting, and I very much enjoyed it, and I am going to rate it a 9.
Wow.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I really like this movie. I love how we've talked about just how Del Toro can mix the super gruesome dark parts with the fun, enchanting fairy tale. And I just everything he does is just so visually appealing, and it's just like kind of a glimpse into his mind and how terrifying it probably is in there. But yeah, I really like this movie. I'm gonna give this one an 8.9.
8.9. Yeah, I mean, we've said what needs to be said. It's a great movie. It's fun to watch, and there's something under the surface there as well. This one for me is an 8.5.
All right.
So we got a 9.0, an 8.9, and an 8.5. Was it was like 8?
Yeah.
Wow, that's high. Definitely higher than I anticipated that it would be. That puts it on par with something like Birdman,
Whoa.
Sicario, and The Big Short. Crazy. Look at us go.
Crazy stuff.
All right, folks. That concludes our discussion of Guillermo del Toro's 2006 fantasy fever dream, Pan's Labyrinth. We are going to talk about some other stuff. Mostly other movies and things that we've been watching. If this is where you leave us, we totally do understand. If you'd like to get in contact with us, we highly encourage it. You can email us at contact@wewatchpodcast.com. Or you can find us social media, facebook.com/wewatchpodcast, Instagram @wewatchpodcast, Twitter @wewatchpodcast. Just at me on Twitter so that I actually see the tweet. And that's how you get in contact with us. And let's get into some other topics, other things that we have been watching. Sid, maybe you should go first.
Okay. So I watched Jerry Maguire this week.
Show me the money!
And it was good. I liked it.
Jerry Maguire's so good.
I wasn't a huge fan of Jerry Maguire himself because he kind of sucks. But I really liked it. I honestly wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, but I think Renee Zellweger was really good in it. The little kid in it was the cutest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. If my kid is not like him, I don't want it.
His freaking glasses.
The human head weighs 8 pounds. So cute. Yeah, so I liked that. That one was really good. It was just looking at how manipulative Jerry was. I just wasn't a fan of that.
You had me at hello.
You complete me. It's stupid, but I love it.
He doesn't deserve her.
No, definitely not. And then I watched Reservoir Dogs yesterday.
Ooh, how did that go?
It was really good.
I need to watch that.
It was really good. It's obvious that it's his first one, because it's pretty much just all in the same room.
For the uninitiated, Quentin Tarantino's first feature film.
Tarantino's. So you can tell it has a small budget, but it was really good. I just the way.
Is it very identifiably his still?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely things. I mean, there's no shots of feet, unfortunately.
How do you even watch it?
But yeah, you can see similar themes. It's not as crazy as some of his other ones. Of course, there's bloody moments, and there are some N words, which I was not a huge fan of, but what are you gonna do? But yeah, it was really good. Harvey Keitel and Tim Roth are amazing in it.
Huh.
Yeah, I was really surprised by it. So yeah, I watched that.
It's on my short list for sure. I gotta work my way through the rest of his filmography.
Mm-hmm. And then I started watching the second season of The Sinner. Have you ever heard of that one?
Mm-mm.
That one's really good. It's got Bill Pullman playing, he's the head detective, and the first season is it's kind of anthology. The first season is about Jessica Biel plays a woman who just randomly kills someone on the beach, and it's just Bill Pullman trying to figure out what's going on there. And the second season is a little kid poisons his parents. So they're just super.
What's it on?
USA. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. They're just like the stories, like especially this season, it seems like pretty straightforward. That just like, oh, this kid killed his parents, but like they add in so many cool twists to it, and it's really interesting. I really like it. And Bill Pullman, I love him. Anyway, that's all I've watched.
Cool. We only watched Being John Malkovich, and it was very, very good.
It was delightful. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That movie was a treat.
It really was.
I gotta say. Freaking, I didn't know that John Cusack was capable of being charismatic.
Who would have thought?
But he pulls it off. And then John Malkovich, like, just the self-awareness to do a role like that. And, like, I would have loved to be in the pitch meeting with Spike Jonze when he pitched that to John Malkovich. And to have him be, like, what could that pitch possibly have been for him to say yes? You know what I mean?
No idea.
You get to play yourself,
but you also get to play other people being you.
And there's gonna be a scene where you are every single person in the restaurant.
I love that.
And it's
so
the best
much.
scene.
Seriously, Malkovich. Like, about a third of the way through, I looked over at Becca and I was like, there's no way this movie finishes without us seeing what happens when he goes inside the portal, right? And then, like, 5 minutes later, that scene came on. He's a busty woman. He's a little baby. He's I don't know.
Singer. He's
Yeah.
the waiter.
It's just incredible.
And he's every food choice. Like,
Oh yeah, all the menu
Not
just
the
says Malkovich. Because, like, it's hard to think of anybody else that would work for. Like, just the name even is so odd in a way
Yeah.
that, like, I don't know, you do it with George Clooney, like being George Clooney.
no.
I don't know. It just doesn't have the same ring to it.
I mean, and because we know the name of the movie, but you know what I mean? Like, being Harvey Keitel.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it, like, part of the appeal is John Malkovich is, like, he's a very, like, cold, like, the character he plays a lot is, like, a very cold, stern person in authority.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to see him be, like, super goofy and, like, have all these people go into his mind, and, like, it makes him vulnerable.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it.
And that would be a good movie to one day do a podcast on, because there's a lot going on there.
Oh yeah.
Spike Jonze. So. But yeah, that was the only thing we watched. We watched the MasterChef. We've been busy.
Yeah.
Watched a lot of Overwatch League.
I didn't.
Yeah, that's my life. But yeah, anything else that we want to talk about?
I don't think so.
Nope.
The Nightingale is finally coming out,
Ooh.
which I'm ready for.
Here,
It's
that's-
screening in LA and New York right now, but I'm
I-
hoping that it comes here.
I've been dying to see The Farewell, and I'm super mad that it's only playing in Salt Lake.
Oh, so it's not going to come to actual theaters?
It's playing at Century and Broadway. This is like
Gross.
their countrywide release.
That's so gross.
Yeah.
I want to see that too. It looks good, but I don't really want to drive up to Salt Lake.
I know.
I'm up there every day. Just come join me.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
All right. Yeah, we're in a bit of a dry spell right now as far as movies go. Things coming out.
And time to watch.
Well, actually,
movies.
no. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark comes out next week.
Ooh, I'm excited about that.
I'm ready for
one.
that.
More Del Toro.
Yeah. But he's just producing. He's not directing.
I'm still excited.
I'm still excited. I grew up on those books.
Yeah. There was one story that just freaked
The
me out
spiders?
for years. No, it was the one with, like, the person on the hill or something. All I know is I couldn't sleep for weeks.
There's the ones that get me, like, there's the spiders that come out of her cheek.
Mm.
There's the $50 in the eyes where, like, the
Oh,
person goes
yeah.
in and steals the $50 and it, like, wakes up the corpse.
Yeah. It's kind
Um,
of creepy. Just like the illustrations.
yeah. The fact that they let us have those as children.
I know. Oh
It's
my gosh.
insane.
No wonder why your favorite movie of last year was Suspiria.
Why am I so maladjusted? Freaking Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark volumes 1 through 3. That's why. All right, folks. That'll do it for us this week. We thank you for listening. We thank everyone who had a part in making July our best month ever for the 3rd month in a row.
Whoa.
Yay.
We don't say it enough, but we love you and we do thank you. for thinking that we have enough to say for you to spend your time listening to us. But this is also why we ask for your feedback. And we want to know what you guys think, what movies we could do. Any thoughts you have on our thoughts or the movies that we've done. We'd love to have this be more of an interactive experience. So if you have anything you want to say to us, just write in and contact at wewatchpodcast.com. Or just find us on social media at wewatchpodcast. And that's it. We thank you. We love you. I'm Andrew.
I'm Becca.
I'm Sid.
And we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Bye.